Okay, friends, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time zone you are. So before I proceed, am I audible to everyone? And the
Yes,
slide
sir.
is also visible.
Yes, yes. Yes, sir.
Excellent, excellent, very good. From different regions, I know you are there, but everyone is able to hear me clearly, sound-wise. So before I
Yes,
start, then it'll be too late to get back. Okay, guys, now what are we going to do around? Firstly, I want to welcome you all to this, I would say, something exciting journey into the world of unlocking future of procurement and supply chain, what you can see here around. Today, what we will be exploring this, the future part, through the lens of 7 senses. Some of you may be thinking, what are these 7 senses around? All of us know our human senses. I don't have to explain that part around. Human senses we all know from the childhood. In those 5 senses, I've added up 2 more senses and I've connected them with the procurement senses around. I'll be using these metaphors to explain you what is happening in the field of procurement and supply chain. So this is what I'm going to focus on. So let me now start with this. The learning objective, what I've kept for this journey is first is to understand what is procurement senses around. Why do we need this? How to use them? The purpose of bringing this procurement senses or the human senses is to simplify the understanding of subject. Because these metaphors we all know from the childhood. So this is why I'll use those senses around. I'll try to link the human senses with procurement senses. Understanding the role of procurement senses. It's a totally new concept. You will not have heard these senses earlier around. The future trends in 2025. What are the changes going to happen in 2025? What to expect? An action plan. Now, understanding the role of ISM. Now, when we say all these changes are happening around, how can ISM India, which is a part of ISM USA, which is a 115 years old organization in the US, how can we help you in understanding the competency? If I say that, guys, you are good in this, you have a gap in this, so this is where we can do it. How maturity level of your procurement function. Every organization has got procurement and supply chain function. And if you guys want to know the maturity level, so this is where we would like to tell you how we can help you. Steps to transform procurement to digital first economy. Everybody's talking of digital first economy. So digital first means the world worldwide is going into the digital world. We see in India, we see in US, we see in every countries around digital. So digital transformation is part of it. On top of it, what I plan to do, the session I've cut for an hour, then we'll have 10 to 15 minutes. For any question and answers, please write down. So in between, I'll expect that everybody will mute this system around, but do keep questions, whatever you come across. So wait for the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you need, I'll be happy to answer those. The broadly objective which I'm keeping around is to focus on the interplay of procurement senses to create a dynamic, resilient, and forward-looking procurement and supply chain function. So that's what we are looking around. Guys, so let me set the tone first. If I want to say the tone of this one, when we think of a procurement, normally what we think of is focus on cost. I've been in this field for last now 5 decades, out of which I spent 1 decade in Denmark, another 3 decades in the US, and some time in India. So normally the focus has been on cost. Cut down the cost. How much is the price? How much is this one? Supplier performance. And the next is negotiation. Broadly, if you look around, 80% of the procurement people revolves around 3 things. Is the price reasonable? Is the performance going to be good? And negotiation. But if I told you that the 7 basic senses, which we all have, we use it in the childhood side, The sight means basically vision. Vision means strategy. That means I'm able to see through and through what is going to happen. Hearing. What do we hear? We hear from the suppliers. We hear from the stakeholders. So those hearings are also part of it. The touch part. If I touch something, I see, guys, this is a mechanical thing. But I'm trying to use technology as a replicant for this. Taste. Is it tasting good, bad? So taste is again linked with the value for the money. Smell. Smell is again a sense which indicates you there's going to be a risk here. Empathy, initiative, I'll explain all of them there. Now, this is what we can say significantly impact the procurement strategies and decision making in 25. Now, let's try to explore how these human senses play a critical role in the evolving procurement landscape. So this is where we are going to discuss on this part. Now, the procurement in 25 will no longer be about purchasing. Purchasing is a very mechanical, tactical, operational function. You tell me, Krishan, oh, we want to buy this. Here is the list of suppliers. Place an order, get the lowest price. That is a very mechanical process. Now, purchasing has already matured to procurement, and procurement is matured to supply chain management. It's about building relationship, understanding the value part, leveraging technology part, managing risks around. If I go 10, 15 years back, risk was lower. But now with the geopolitical situations, the risks are becoming bigger now. The delivery is not assured. The routes are becoming longer. Ensuring sustainability also. Climate change, we are all affected. So that means now the trend which is happening around is we have to think of a value. We have to think of digital transformation. We have to think of risk part. We have to think of sustainability part. So they are becoming part and parcel of our life in procurement process. As the world moves towards digital transformation, the complexities of procurements are growing. In one way, procurement is becoming very important function also, very unique and important function. To manage this complexity effectively, we need more than data analytics. So we need something more information. This is where the basic human senses come in. To manage the future trends, we will explore the use of human senses in the form of procurement senses. So what I will do around is to convert those human senses into procurement senses, and that will become the form of our structures around. Strategy, as you know, we always talk about what is the strategy to do this job. But the human sense is vision. Sight. So the sight gives you the visibility part, and that's what strategy does. Same thing, we're talking of values. We buy something, is it adding values? And the value you and me all understand at our basic home sense, taste. The price may be more or less is unimportant to us. The taste has to be good. And taste covers what? Quality, innovations, and meeting the goals around. Similarly, we have market intelligence. Market intelligence comes with the hearing, the sound part, risks, smell. So smell is the one basic sense, human sense, and then I'm talking of procurement sense is risk part around. Technology is also linked to the touch part. And the touch means automation part, digital transformation, process efficiencies. If to do a job, it takes 14 steps. If I can cut down from 14 steps to 5 steps, my cycle time from requisition to placement of order takes me 10 days. If I can cut down to 2 days, that's what we're talking of, the improve the touch part, improve the technology part. Relationship. I think this one has become a most important thing around. Today morning, I was discussing with one big companies around. They were trying to hire some people. He said, I'm looking for a person who knows how to manage relationship with supplier and stakeholders. Procurement is no more introvert work. Procurement is a more extrovert. In procurement, if you want to succeed, you have to have how to build relationship with supplier and stakeholders. and your customer. So that is mean this is becoming social intelligence, which we all know around. In the good old days, the focus was all IQ. But today the focus is on social intelligence, empathy part, and that's what we're talking relationship. So similarly, sustainability again is a procurement sense. It's all about intuition. Intuition means ethically I'm doing good job or bad job, reducing the environmental impact around, and circular economy. So these are the 7 procurement senses which I've tried to link with our own human senses around. This is the tabular form. You all will have a copy of this. Strategies linked with vision, values linked with taste, market intelligence linked with hearing. We always say keep your ears open, eyes open. That's how you get the intelligence part. Risks, smell, technology with a touch, relationship with empathy, sustainability, it gives you the future trends. So you can see these are the biosenses, human senses, linked with the procurement elements. The trend-wise, if I say era procurement, starting from 1916, what shows around here, I will just touch the last 2, the now part. The now word is already switched over to digital supply network. Digital mean end-to-end connected. End-to-end connected, integrated end-to-end cloud solutions. Already many companies, big companies have already moved into that direction. The future is going to be Gen AI. The generative AI systems, I'm sure you all have it, not that I'm trying to promote that. Chat GPT, others, Gemini, they all have come up into this. Copilot, again, from Microsoft. So they are all in this business around. Collaboration network. Collaboration with the supplier, collaboration with the stakeholders are important issues around. That's why I said around people who want to make a career in procurement supply chain, they need to have a social intelligence. They need to know how to collaborate with suppliers, how to get the job done, intelligent contact extraction. So this is where the trend is moving. Another thing which I would say about the supply base, 20 years back, people only talked about the price. In some countries, still it is price. Public sector, I know still it is a price. But even there also, things are changing. Public sector also is changing. They're coming with the new concepts around. Presently, the focus is how to cut the cost, how to cut the risk around, and how to improve the value. Upward arrow shows around innovation. And the last one, if I say around the future part, security of supply, which was not there, but now with the geopolitical situation worldwide, security of supply. Will the goods reach you or not? You have placed the order, mitigate the price rises, and sustainable. So this is becoming, with all of us getting affected with the climate change, I think sustainability is becoming very important around. That means in the selection criteria, I need to give a weightage to that around. So this is where I try to draw the lens of 7 senses. You can say this is a framework. Nicely shows like a tree in the sense of strategy. Any job you do today, the very first question is, what is your strategy on this? What do you want to achieve in this? What is your vision? What is your mission? Then come the sense of technology, sense of values, sense of market intelligence, sense of relationship, sense of risk. These 7 pillars cover the whole spectrum of procurement and supply chain. So this is where I'm going to link up with the future trends around. So the use of procurement senses, it is more like our life. Our senses guide us. The sense could be like a market intelligence, sense could be about the value part, sense could be about relationships, sense could be about strategy part. So what we plan to do is to navigate the challenges of 25 and emerge as a leader by using these senses around. So that's what we'll be doing around. If I say the advantages part of using procurement senses, it simplifies the concepts. If I would have not touched about this, I would have still gone into the big story, academic story on digital transformation, this, that becomes too complex. So I'm trying to come with a metaphor, and this metaphor helps you to grasp very abstract procurement into a very scientific way. It encourages a balanced approach. So human senses work together for a complete experience around. Procurement encourages integration. It integrates strategy. It integrates the values. And strategy is nothing but a future roadmap. Today is one thing, but the future roadmap, value part, relationship part, and technology. So it's basically integrating all the things together. Future focus, using senses as a framework. So those 7 senses, if I use as a framework, it aligns with the growing emphasis on intuitive, data-driven, value-oriented procurement trends around. So this is where I've tried to show around the mapping of procurement elements, sense of strategy. It gives you strategic thinking. When I say sense of value, it focuses on value-based procurement. It is not the price alone. It covers quality, it covers sustainability, it covers many elements around. Sense of market intelligence, market research and analysis. Sense of risk, it gives you risk management approach. Sense of technologies, digital transformation and analytics. Sense of relationship gives you supplier relationship management, and sense of sustainability into this. And I'll be using again this term when we come to the other topic on the future trends. What is sense of strategy? Whenever we talk of a strategy, it's a long term. It's not today. It is not next month. It is not 6 months. We're talking more than a year. So it becomes a proactive function. Strategy words come when we are planning more than a year. That guys, what I'm going to do next year? What are my plans around? Where do I buy? Is it the right supplier? Should I change the supplier? So it basically moves the procurement from a transactional to strategic enabler. It aligns the procurement goals. Every organization, particularly private sector and in the government sector as well, you have overarching business objective. What do we want to achieve? Even in the public sector, I'm setting up the hospitals, I'm setting up the schools, I'm setting up the infrastructure. I have overarching business objective, guys. I want to do this at the best cost and a good quality and good service. My objectives are very clear. Then I draw the objectives downward, and that becomes my procurement goals. Ensuring the procurement activities support and enhance the organization strategies around. Future proofing. So we want that, guys, whatever process we come around, it should address my challenges. And the challenges could be technological disruption. Today I have a software, but that software company has closed down, not giving me support around. And that company has been bought by my competitor, or bought by somebody else. And changing regulatory landscape around. Regulatory landscapes are changing for each countries around. Today we have a very good relationship with one country. Tomorrow we may not have it. So all the landscape is changing around. Data-driven decision making. So this is what we call the strategy part. Very simplified version, covers many things. The second thing when we talk of sense of values. The value is a key thing which is happening now, is the cornerstone of strategic decision making. It is not just about for every activity in the procurement process. If my process is too complex, I'm not getting a value for money. If 10 people are approving it, again, takes too much time. So it's the cost saving. Cost saving could be in the product also. Cost saving could be in my process as well. And risk management could also be there around, whether I'm buying from X company versus Y company. X company, I may have a problem to get the goods delivered. With Y company, we have a good relationship country to country. My risks are lower. Compliance part, growth aspect. So many topics come into the value part. Second, when we talk of the sense of risks around, the risk covers many things. First thing is identifying the risk. Any procurement process, if somebody tells me my stuff, oh, we are buying from this country, how the goods will be delivered. What are the risks in this one around? Identifying the risk, assessing the risk, and managing those threats is also part of it around. So this is where you can see the strategies, analysis, policies, control, improvements, review, process, rules, success. So without this, automatically success will not come. So we have to play for it. We have to look into this and then come with that. The sense of technology part, the world has moved from the 18th centuries to today, now 21st centuries. Industrial Revolution 1, 2, 3, 4. When the industry has moved to 4, procurement, supply chain also has to become 4. And the 4 is nothing but a smart. Smart means digital. So procurement also has to become digital, digital, digital. You can see in this graphic around, everything is connected through Wi-Fi. You might be sitting at home, machines are running 10,000 miles away, you can run it. Look at the US may have a data center. The machines are there, the land is there, the power is there, but the guy might be sitting in India operating those systems around because I'm connected. So this is what we call the digital revolution part. You might be in any part of the world. So digitally, even it's not allowed today, but in case somebody wants, even the aeroplanes could be, you can fly them out by sitting at home because you're connected digitally. So this is where the word digital is coming around. We want procurement to become digital. So there are different tools of digital world. So then the new thing which is coming in the technology area is AI. AI is nothing but algorithm. AI was in the technology field when I passed out from engineering in long back. In 70, when I did around, in 72, I did my master's. So even that time we had artificial intelligence, but it was not so popular except developing the roadmap, developing the algorithm. But today, it has grown too fast, particularly with generative AI. It has become very popular. ChatGPT, it can be used effectively for many things. I can create my RFP. So request for proposal, it can create for you. Pre-processing around, then significant identifying the suppliers around. If I give them the criteria, it can identify the suppliers. It can summarize who are the suppliers who can do which job. But again, you will find on each box around, there are two things. Some places only human elements are required. Some place human elements along with technology. Some place technology can do much better job. So it's a combination. AI is becoming more of an assistant to us. Human elements will be still required around, but joining together, we do a better job. That's what I'm looking at. The sense of relationship. So this is the cornerstone of fostering robust, manually, again, partnership, beneficial partnership with suppliers, stakeholders, and internal teams. Because procurement people have to depend on the internal teams. This involves understanding the dynamics of relationship, cultivating trust, managing interaction in a way that enhances the collaboration and drives value. So this part is becoming very, very important, the relationship which you see at the nation level also, company level also, organization level also. If you don't know how to build relationship, you think that only money can buy everything. No, it's a relationship there. I remember the time when COVID-19 was there, I used to see some companies around. He said, are you in trouble? He said, yes, but still my connections are so good. If I call the supplier even at midnight, by tomorrow they'll deliver me. So relationship counts a lot. Same thing happened relationship with the in-house also, with your stakeholders. When we talk of relationship, particularly from supplier context, the word which has become very popular, supplier relationship management. I know the time when it was 1982, 83, when the word came CRM, customer relationship management. Everybody thought the customer is a god, but supplier is not important to us. We can always, supplier is a doormat for us. But now people have understanding the supplier is equally important. And this is, I would say, very good example was when two Japanese companies moved to the US and were competing with a big company like Ford and General Motors. And these companies were no different than Toyotas and Hondas. The only good thing what they did was maintaining a relationship with the same supplier who were supplying to Honda in this. And they were in Kentucky and they did a wonderful job. And that's from onward, people learned that SRM is very important to us. So SRM, if I look at a 360-degree views, analyze the supplier performance, monitor the supplier risk, and compliance. So if I'm doing all the things together, it becomes a complete 360-degree view. So it gives you various benefits around, which are listed here in the chart. The next thing, which is going to be on sustainability. I'm going through these terminology because when we come to the trends, I think we all know what exactly it means.
Sir, excuse me.
Yeah, please.
Sir, the screen is it's blank, sir. Somebody else's screen is saying.
From Google,
Is it
welcome.
the same thing with everybody?
Entering.
Yes, sir.
Same
Yeah,
thing with
that's
everyone.
still working.
Yes,
It's the same thing everywhere.
So
Yes.
screen is not visible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I think
visible.
someone has shared his
I
screen,
can
so
see
maybe you
it.
can just remove it.
Actually, there are two scenes. You can select screen of Mr. Batra, whosoever is facing the problem. There are
Yes,
two
yes, yes,
screens
right.
shared at the same time. One is John's and one is Mr. Batra's. So you select Mr. Batra's, that will work for you.
But how to go there?
Anyone can guide them, guys?
At the top, okay,
I
yes,
am
the other screen is
guiding
gone
them,
now.
sir. This is my.
Yes, coming up.
Just
After
everyone
that.
go
Okay,
to
again, anybody else?
Now it is
It's up
visible.
already
I
now.
hope it works
Mr.
now.
John Amqua.
I hope it works now.
Mr. John
Yeah, I think
Amankwa.
it's working now. It's
Yeah,
working now.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys, please,
Yeah.
it's working now. Yeah.
Excuse me, some of the guys, can you just close the camera, please?
To whom you are talking about?
Hello?
Hello.
Arun, is it okay now? Visible to everybody, the slides? That's the key thing.
Yes, sir. It is.
Yes,
Yes,
Mr.
it
Batra.
is.
Now it
Yes.
is the problem is
It's
resolved.
Okay,
it's
was it
very
for all
okay.
the
Yes, sir.
slides? Should I go backward?
No, sir. No. I think you can continue with this. We have the recording.
Okay. Well, guys, now we come into the sense of sustainability part. So this involves three parts around. One on the environment side, one on the economy side, and one on the society side. That means there are three pillars. That means whatever we buy, some of you may be thinking that why we are talking of procurement with sustainability. If you talk of anybody's country's GDP, you might be in Nigeria, you might be in Poland, you may be in India, you may be in any part of the world around. The GDP is nothing but how much is government spending, how much is procurement is bought by the companies, how much is bought by the people, and plus export minus import. So the three elements around, the key element is procurement. So that means if we procure more, and if you don't procure in a very scientific way, in a good way, then sustainability becomes. So procurement is very important parameter. That's why in procurement, we are trying to focus the term of sustainability, guys. So wherever I buy three suppliers, I'll say, guys, whose carbon footprints are less? So environment is very important to us. Society is also important to us if company is not taking care of the staff, not providing them the basic facilities around. So that also is not very good for the society to move forward. So we are looking at the environment part, the carbon footprints in the manufacturing. We're also looking at the people which are employed by the companies. They are not treating them like a slaves. They're giving them the rights, health criteria around, they're giving them the good education, they're giving them all the benefits around. Economy part. Economy means certainly we are looking at the governance, we are looking at the profitability, we are looking at all that thing. So sustainability has got three pillars: environment, in the manufacturing, society, economy. So this one gives you importance of sustainability part. So this is showing you importance, description, impact. So better finance and risk management, attainment of, again, commitments and the goals. Each country has given the goals around. Europe has given around by 2050 as per the Paris declarations. US also same. India is China has given something different one. But soon, if people are going to export from one country to another country, they may have to prove that their carbon footprints are the lower one. If they are not, there could be a carbon tax around. So I think this is where commitments and goals are coming around. Meeting stakeholders' expectation and then the future proofing. So it gives you a very broad topic around. I mean, more detail I'll be covering in a separate webinar in future on sustainability. Actually, we are doing a one program next month on sustainable procurement. So that's a full 3 days program. Now, there are other things around about the sustainability part in ISO standard for sustainable goals. One, I'm sure you all know ISO 9001. It's an international standard organization based in Geneva. 9001 is quality management. 14,001 is environmental management system. 26,000 is the social responsibilities around. 20,400 is a key one which we are doing this month, a separate session, full day masterclass only on ISO 20,400. So like this, there are many sustainable standards which has come around. I think we need to follow them up. In the good old days, procurement never cared for this. But now as the time has come, we're going to ask the supplier guys, can you give us a certificate whether you are certified or not? Next thing come on the technology side. Procurement IT system, if you look, MRP was there in 1970. When I started my career, it was all MRPs. Then ERP came, Enterprise Resource Planning. Now, many of the companies have come into e-procurement, end-to-end connected. You might be sitting at home. You can still see the whole process end-to-end, paperless, office totally paperless. And then based on that, we can move to the next one, Procurement 4.2. That's a digital transformation. So digital transformation can only happen when we are creating a data through e-procurement. Then I can do the digital transformation. So some of us who are thinking of digital transformation, they have to think of all the steps around. I'm not saying e-procurement is a compulsory, but if you do it that way, it becomes more easier to implement Procurement 4.2. So there are two words, again, I would like to clarify. One is called digitization, one is called digitalization. Digitization means you're converting the hard copy into the soft copy to make it e. Here it is digital by nature, by birth. The system itself is by digital. Here I'm creating first hard copies, then I scan it. After scanning, I convert the data, that is digitization. So what we are looking around is digitalization. End-to-end visible, paperless, that's what we are looking around. Now I'm moving into the trends part. So this is where we were trying to set the tone for various senses on procurement side. Now let's get down into the trends in the future in 2025. The landscape of procurement and supply chain management is evolving rapidly due to advancement in technologies, globalization, and shifting business priorities. And I can speak much more confidently because I've seen the whole journey myself. So when MRP was there, I was there. ERP, I implemented in all over the world in 166 countries when I was heading in the US. I've traveled to around 83, 84 countries myself to implement that around. So I can say very confidently around that the procurement has gone from a purely mechanical process. Today, it has become the most smart function, more digital function, and demanding function, I would say. So the very first trend which is happening today, and this is driven by the World Economic Forums, each country is pushing for it, Paris Declaration is pushing for it, sustainability as a core priority. So in all over the world, every country is suffering with this climate part. Some more, some less. So those people who have got much more industrial activities around, they are seeing the pollution level. Then there are other factors coming around. So this is the one key factor I would call around as a first trend. Relevant procurement, human senses, sustainability, intuition part. What to expect? So what do we expect from people is to expect prioritized, sustainable, ethical practices. Obviously, you are in procurement and supply chain. You need to promote this as a requirement from supplier. If supplier is giving to you offer, you say, guys, can you give us some certificate that how much is your carbon footprint? Are you certified on this? So this includes reducing the carbon footprint, sourcing responsibility, and adhering to ESG. Now, in all those Fortune 500 companies, this is becoming more like a requirements around ESG standards, or complying with ESG. The action plan which are required to do this is ISO 20400. Is a beautiful standard which we are doing a training program this month, full day mastery class on sustainable procurement. Engage suppliers in sustainability programs, track their compliance, track the ESG goals, and then the life cycle cost around. It is not the price today. You might have got the goods for today, but then when we use it, there's a use cost, there's a maintenance cost, there's a disposal cost. Add all of them together. That's what we call life cycle cost. And then there are standards for that, ISO 14040 and 14044. So this is where it needs to be done to manage this trend around. Second trend which is happening in this year onward now, digital transformation, AI integration. 2 years back, nobody talked about AI. But last year, this has picked up AI in a big way. Every field, AI is coming into a big way. So digital transformation is the very first one. So this one, the relevant procurement senses technology are the touch part. What to expect? So what are we expecting around all the digital technologies? It could be a blockchain, could be machine learning, could be AI. All of them are revolutionizing procurement. Blockchain means if I want to see from the raw material stage till end to end, from beginning of the raw material till it goes back to the earth, I can track and trace how much is the carbon footprint. So basically these tools enhance your decision making, automate the process, and ensure greater transparencies. Now the action plan, what we need around is adopt AI-driven tools. Spend analysis. So I was doing one program for one company. I said, guys, do you know your spend? He said, yes. Can I segregate the spend based on risk and amount? So there is a good tools available around. And I got this tool long back when I was in Denmark. We were doing this. So we had a software. I could say, guys, this is my spend of $10 billion. I'm buying around 20,000 items. It could segregate those items based on risk and amount. Every procurement is not same. Some procurements are very difficult. There is no choice available. Some case I have got too much choices around. Some case the value is so low and I've got multiple choices like office supplies. I don't have to make a long-term agreements with them. So you need different approaches around. So then we comes around and integrate the blockchain for traceability and secure transaction across the supply chain. Train procurement teams on using advanced analytics platform around. The third trend which is happening in this one is collaboration with supplier. Hyper collaboration. In the good old days, I was just saying collaboration, but now it has become much more because now you're not depending on one country. You want to find suppliers within your neighborhood so that your cost of transportation is less. If anything goes wrong in other countries, you are not stuck at all. So this is where we are looking at collaboration with supplier in a hyper way, I'm saying. So relationship is very important to us. That's a word I used to. And Japanese were the first one to bring these concepts around. SRM framework, organize innovation workshop. So if you want to get some new ideas around, new things around, tell the supplier guys, can we improve this? Can we do that? So we work together. We develop long-term contracts. If I'm doing a long-term contract with the supplier, supplier will be willing to put money and time and efforts to improve it. But if you're giving a one contract, supplier will not care. So this is where we are looking at a long-term relationship with suppliers. Even if you look at the Europeans' long-term agreements, the public sector also, they have a long-term agreement. Most of the countries are moving into the long-term agreements around. Emphasis on risk management. So risk and resilience. The resilience word was not there before COVID-19. But after COVID-19, this word came around. Many companies died because financially they were very weak. But then they said, are you resilient? Are you able to withstand the disruption? Are you able to withstand this or not? So that's what the word came resilient around. Risk management. So this is where we are looking around action plan-wise, regular risk assessment. Diversify supply bases. Focus on nearshoring. The word is nearshoring. And reshoring. Earlier, all of us were going to only one country around more or less. But now everybody is looking around, guys, in case we want to survive in the long term, we need suppliers in the nearshoring and reshoring. Risk monitoring tools are there around. So this is where we are looking around. The trend for which is happening around is on the risk side. The next one is again on the value part. Is value again, I'm trying to give with a human sense on taste. You and me, when we eat something, we don't mind paying more if the taste is good. Same thing when we buy goods, that's what we say values. Is it giving value for money? It gives me value for money. I'm getting a watch. One watch gives me my blood pressure reading also. It gives me other feature as well. You don't mind paying more money because of value for money. Other one is very cheap, but the life may be very less. Maintenance cost may be very high. So this is where we are looking at the value in a bigger way. So action plan is a value-based procurement. So all of us are moving into value for money. If you look at this, everybody's procurement manual, the first line is the key principle is value for money. All of us, even in the public sector, private sector, any procurement manual you look around, the first principle is value for money. But then you ask them value, they always link with the lowest price. The maintenance cost may be higher, performance may be poor, but that is not value for money. Then you have to add all the elements together. So this is where now even the government of India has come up with the new concepts. Earlier we were going with the L1, but now they're going with RFP, they are calling it. So L1 is not the criteria alone. So this is where we need to introduce the key performance indicators. The next one comes when you're moving in this direction, the talent development. We also need the right people also. One is that, okay, guys, we want to go into digital transformation. We want to take care of sustainability around. So we need to train our people in that field as well. Upskilling is very important. So upskilling is becoming very important. And then there are different training programs. We have CPSM, which is a global certification from the ISM USA. We also have certification from the United Nations coming from Geneva. We also have e-learning certification. There are many other people as well. I'm not saying that we are the only one. So there are programs available around. The next trend is advanced use of predictive and prescriptive analytics. We want to plan something. What is going to happen in 6 months? What is going to happen in 1 year? What's going to happen in 2 years? Things might change. I'm not saying that everything is static. It's a dynamic world. But then if we want to analyze the data, sometimes we do with the help of spreadsheet, nothing is wrong. But then I want to see what is going to be the change in that. Analytics part is also required. So this is where we look into this, which gives me the vision part. The next one comes integrating procurement and supply chain. So far, in many of the organizations, procurement is separate, supply chain is separate. Supply chain means I'm looking, some people think supply chain is a transportation. Some people think supply chain is a network from end to end. Some people think supply chain management is a bigger thing. I would say we need to integrate both the functions around. Because I might be doing a procurement, but then transportation somebody else looks after. Who is accountable at the end of the day when the goods don't reach? Customer says, guys, these things are not reached. The problem could be with transportation. The problem could be procurement. Problem could be somewhere else. So we need to integrate procurement to end. So one boss will be there around, guys, end to end, you are accountable. So we have various forces, and that's what we need to do around. So this gives us the example of integration. Why do we need integration? I want to manage my inventory also. I want to manage my logistic also. I want to manage my procurement also. Obviously, the best thing is to integrate them. Make one guy as the head of all of them. So this is where we are looking at integration between procurement and supply chain. So technology-driven, resilience-driven, customer-centric approach. So all of the factors, this gives you again, the indicators. So same thing which I was showing is a more in a tabulated form. Everyone should make with an action plan. To 2025, I want to implement sustainability. So let's say the timeline is Q1 2025. I'll say, guys, percentage of sustainable supplier on board. Today, I may have 10,000 suppliers. Then I say Q1, I'll do around 100 or 200. So we could integrate these guidelines into this. Digital transformation. How many things we can reduce the manual processes around? Roll out the AI tools, supplier collaboration, risk management, ongoing activities around. It's obviously you can't put the target there around, say ongoing. Talent development, predictive analytics. So we could come with a framework like this. Okay, guys, this is what we are going to do in 2025 to cope with the trends around. That's what we could do. Now, question come next one is, okay, we are doing this, but we want to assess the competency of our people. So we have the tools for that. We are done for Dell. We are done for many companies around. It evaluates the general knowledge. It evaluates the skills. It evaluates abilities around. The guy may be a very smart, intelligent guy, knowledgeable, but doesn't have a skill. How to do it? He's not a hands-on guy. So you need skills, you need knowledge and abilities. So we need a combination of the two. Ability means the guy who can cope up with various situations. Then we have it measures, again, the competency against a predefined benchmark. So we have the benchmarks. So depending on the areas, we can tell you. The key components are the competency framework, assessment tools, and outcome. I think everyone needs to see where are the skills set of my team. Are they in line with the requirements or not? So why conduct supply? The first thing is skill gap. You might have hired a person working for last 3 years, 4 years, but very routine function. Now you want to promote the guy. If you want to promote, you want to see guys has got the right skill or not. What gaps are there? How do I bridge the gaps around? So role alignments, your top requirements are different, then how do I align them with the role? Performance improvements, future readiness, talent development, and it makes the organization also competitive. So this is why we need the competence assessment. So those tests we call as competency assessment test, CAT. So it does help us to do that thing. So this is where, let's say I want to check somebody for negotiation skill. So negotiation skill, I'll say, guys, what are the behavioral indicators? Favorability with maintaining simulation, we will do it. Behavioral part, we'll give a role play around. Then we'll see how does this guy behave in that part. So there's a behavioral interview, there's a simulation. We will simulate the real situation of procurement. Then we'll try to see how does this guy performs around. Risk management, sustainability part, digital proficiencies. So we need all these assessment tests to do it around. So for individuals, certainly is very good. If I'm one of those persons, I will know which are my gaps. And then I try to improve on it. For teams, if all of us are weak in negotiation, all of us are weak in strategic sourcing, then something is wrong. So this is where the team approach comes out. On organization, stronger alignment of the procurement goal with the business objectives around. So this is where we look at in a bigger picture. How to conduct, normally, as I said to you, first step we try to do the framework. Frameworks are based on ISO standards. Then our headquarters, ISM standards around, select assessment tools. Tools could be assessments, very simple one. Then behavioral interviews, skill tests, simulations, peer reviews. conduct assessments, analyze the results, develop action plan, monitor progress. So this is how we do it, and this is the template I've taken from one we did for Dell. So this is the way we got the name of the persons around. We took the topic like contract and negotiation, cost and finance, international supplier sourcing, SRM, logistics, inventory management. So we could see the scorecard. Out of 100, some place was 60%, some place 70, some place 80. And then we gave them the report around where is the areas of improvements around. So now this is about the individual part. The next thing comes is the procurement maturity part. So the maturity level, how do we assess the department as a whole? Assess the procurement maturity level of the department, not the person per se. So we look around is, it evaluates the current state of an organization function, procurement function itself, identify its level of development across strategic things around. It helps measure the effectiveness, efficiencies, and alignment of procurement practices. And why do we do this? If I'm heading a department having 70 people, 80 people reporting to me, whether they are all aligned with the strategic alignments, with the corporate goals, gaps around, what are the gaps? Is it technology gap? Is it a competency gap? Which might be hindering my effectiveness. Then we do the benchmarking, capabilities against industry's best practices, continuous improvement. I think this has become the hallmark for all activities. Any companies around the world came from, again, Japanese one, the Kaizen, the continuous improvement. Continuous means you might be the best today, but after 1 year, new ideas have come around. So we need to improve on a regular basis. Our skill sets, what we got 10 years back, you might have been excellent 10 years back, but may not be today. So continuous improvement, the brainstorming, all those things are important around. Value generation. So this is the need for procurement maturities to be done. Here, what we do is we call the maturity level at 5 levels. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. 1 is a very beginner level. Level 2 is the basic one, and competitive is the one. So we have a test for each one's around. So one could be done if you want just to make your own assessment, you can do it. We can give access to all of you free. So you can access our system and assess yourself sitting in your any country, wherever you are. You can assess what is the number. Is it 3.1? Is it 4? Is it 2? Is it 1 or 5? Nobody else will see it. We will not know it. You can assess yourself. We can give access to you and you can check it out. So we are done for many companies, but that is a very basic one, I would say. But if you want to do in a very smart way, then we do in a different way. So what we do around is we check the strategy part, we check the processes of the company, we check the technology part, we check risk management part, we check supplier management, we check talent and skill and sustainability. So based on that, you're given a score. Is your score 1? Is your score 2.2, 2.8, 3, 3.1, 3, 4, something, or 5? 5 is the world class. So this is where we see around many countries we have done around, still we are seeing 3.5, 3.6. So very few have reached to the master level. So I think one can do the assessment part. So what we do around assessment tools, we have the surveys, we have the questionnaires. If you want to do yourself, you can do it. We can give access to you online, which is freely available, no cost to anyone. You have to answer those questions. It takes you around 40 minutes, 40 or 50 minutes, and you will know the score. Nobody else can notice it. It's all between you and the computer. But if you want some professionals to do it, then we will have surveys, we will have questionnaires, and then we will have interviews and workshops, we will have data analysis, we will have audits, and then we will have analyze the finding. So both things are available. First time you want to try your own, do it. And if you feel it makes sense, then you can go for the survey to get it done. The closing thoughts, if I want to say around, is procurement and supply chain function in 2025 will be defined by the ability to adopt to change. Are we able to change ourselves? What was required 5 years back now is different. The requirements have changed, technology has changed, and drive value beyond cost. So cost again is still focusing on the price part, but we are going beyond that. We are talking of value. So value could be that mean in terms of performance, in terms of look of the product as well, operational cost around, disposal cost as well, and is this product creating any damage to the society as well? Because there are some metals which are used, which when we put them back into the earth or the sea, they damage it. So we have to see anything else around. So cost goes, we call total cost of ownership, or sometimes we call the life cycle cost also. So we need to find that way around. Now, the next thing comes is organizations proactively align their strategy with these trends will not only survive, but thrive in a competitive global environment. So we have to change if you want to thrive in this global world around. Well, friend, with this, again, I want to thank you all for the patient hearing. So let's have a question answers from any one of you. So I want to keep 10, 15 minutes, whatever you want for you guys. I'm again sorry if there was some problem in the presentation. I know for a few minutes. So any question, guys? Floor is yours.
Hello. Good evening,
Yeah,
sir.
please go ahead.
Good evening and very happy new year to you, sir. Sir, as you said, regarding the questionnaires and all, the key assessment areas. Okay. So, how the link will be shared means how I can access my area.
Now, what you are looking around in your areas, how you want to assess the competency level?
Yes, sir.
Now, you want to assess the people's competency or you want to assess the department competence?
Both, sir.
Now, for the department part, I think you can ask our team, they'll give a link to you and you can assess yourself. There'll be around 8 or 9 topics. In each topic, there'll be 20 questions. And those 20 questions, you will have to reply honestly. If you're trying to cook the answer, then the results will be wrong. So go
Yes,
very honestly around, and then with that, I think you should be able to find. Automatically, result will come to you after you finish your scoring it. Immediately, the answer will come that your performance level is this. But if you want to assess the people itself individually, then you will have to register with our team for competency test. Which topic you want? Is it on negotiation? Is it on strategic sourcing? Is it on procurement? Is it on inventory management? Is it on logistics? Which topic you want? Then they will try to see what level of the person is there. If the person is a beginner level, will be different test. Middle level will be different test. Top level will be different test. So there are different tests around, but there is a one very generic one we have, we call as SCM quiz, which is available if you are a member with us. So that quiz is available to you and you can do it and you can assess where do you stand.
Right, sir.
So we
Thank
have
you,
both ones.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah,
Hello.
thanks guys. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello,
Yeah.
good morning.
My
Morning, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, Happy New Year. And
Happy
this is
New
my
Year.
second time of meeting you, sir. Last time was around early August. My question is that, sorry, I'm Ali Usman from Nigeria.
Yes, please.
My question is that you talk about how to reduce carbon footprint between the supplier and the end users. How do you price your carbon footprint so as to reduce the carbon footprint at the end of the supply chain? That's my question, sir.
Okay, it's a very impressive question, I would say, and difficult as well. Now we have got 3 types of carbon footprints. One, let's say you give a contract to company X. So the carbon footprints in that company X, which is processing your products. Now, normally we do carbon footprints in 3 areas. One, how much energy they use to make the product. So once I know the kilowatt hours, I can convert them into carbon. I've got the standard formula. And everybody can do it, not a big issue. How much is the water consumption? Again, we can convert the water also into carbon footprint. Third is the wastage. How much is the wastage around? So all three elements, there are standard formulas available which can find your carbon footprint. So that is within your office. Then each company is buying electricity. And then second one, companies are subcontracting to someone. Every company, nobody makes everything from beginning to end. I might be making one, let's say even simple item furniture. I buy wood from someone. Similarly, I'm making some mechanical item, sheet metal item. I'm buying sheet from someone. So we try to see the carbon footprint in the whole pipe, whole supply chain. I know it's a very complex one at this stage. So we are basically asking supplier to give us your carbon footprints in making this product. To begin with, that is what we call S1. Then there's S2, then there's an S3. But there are carbon footprints within the organization also. If you are the buyer, you also got a carbon footprint within your office. So there also you have to find around how do we cut it down. I can give you my example around. And that time I was in Denmark long back in 98, 89. I was 10 years there. So we were trying to cut down our carbon footprint. So we look at three parameters. How much energy we consume, how much water we waste, and how much is the wastage which we throw out. So we use two organizations, we joined together under ISO 14001. So we tried to find all these criteria around with the help of EU we were doing. And slowly our job was to make it little paperless in the office. So